We'll dig into it a lot then, but we will dig into it right now with my friend Erik Cole, a legend of Carolina Hurricanes hockey lore, who joins us on the Adam Gold Show. First of all, sir, how you doing?
I'm well, yeah. Can't complain. How about yourself?
Excellent. Still upbeat. I am still upbeat despite the first few minutes of game number one. What are your thoughts on how it all started?
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit of a misread there by Teravainen on the back check. Maybe just a little bit more communication between he and Jordan on the back check there. It looked to me like Teravainen had kind of pointed, with his left arm.
Right.
So I was thinking that, if I was Jordan, I'd be like, okay, well, I'll play your position, you play mine. And,
right.
it's just something as simple as stopping in front of the net. You stop and you let everything to the outside stay there and protect, the middle of the ice. So yeah, that was a tough start there. And then, they back it up with the power play goals. I mean, their power plays, it's been very, very good, all season really.
Mm-hmm.
So, they, I think, got a little lucky with a couple of those passes, the behind the backs, but, those are the kind of things that happen, I think, but obviously the big goal is the one that ends up being the game winner that squeaks through Freddie. And, but at the same time, Carolina had their chances and had a lot of chances. And that's a good sign right there that they're generating enough to score and win. And Shesterkin's been, he's been really, really good for a while, particularly in playoff games. I read that stat where he's only given up like 3 or fewer goals in like 28 or 29 straight playoff games. That's lockdown. So
yeah.
It's going to take a big effort. I mean, this is going to be a really tough series, and I think both teams look at it that way. But tonight I expect the team to respond and get this series tied up. In my thought that tonight it's probably going to take overtime, but who knows? Hopefully not.
All right, not good for my my blood pressure or my sleep habits. Erik Cole joins us here on the Adam Gold Show. Everybody, I think even the national media has gotten sucked into the scoreboard as opposed to, even though I thought the Rangers were better, it was a winnable game for Carolina. You had 4 power play opportunities. I'll kick the last one out because you really weren't on the power play because of the Svechnikov tripping penalty, which happened right at the faceoff. Carolina had 4 opportunities on the power play, and there were a bunch of swing and misses and maybe some hesitation at times to either fire a shot or make a quicker pass. Can you start thinking and getting slowed down because of it?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think another stat in that was like time of possession on the power play, where like in zone, I think the Rangers had like 19 seconds and the Hurricanes had nearly 3 minutes. So I mean, they're obviously doing a lot of good things. Sometimes making a quicker play that leads to a shot on goal, and then it leads to that puck retrieval. And then you turn and you counter, and it's a, bang, bang, 2 passes, and it's in the back of the net. But you have to shoot the puck to get the team to react a little bit to, where that save is going. And then you, like I said, puck retrieval's key on power plays. You got to get the puck back, and you make a couple outlet passes, and that's usually where the seams really open up, is where it's off a rebound. You get that puck back, you move it, and the defending team hasn't quite recovered yet, and those plays will be there.
Erik Cole is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Real quick to the penalty kill. Yes, the Rangers moved the puck very quickly on the first goal. They had 8 seconds to score the first one. Carolina made them wait 15 seconds for the second one. Do you change anything about the way you approach the penalty kill because of the Rangers' ability to move the puck so quickly? Because Carolina's all about pressure. I go back to the way their penalty kill, which historically has been good, not working against Tampa, and even the last series, postseason series against New York, struggling certainly in the last couple of games. Do you change how you do that, or do you simply say, this is how we did it all year? It's going to work. We just have to stick with it.
Yeah, I don't think it's a change. There might be some like minor adjustments that they're going to make just based on watching the video, sitting down. So, okay, what are they doing, and how can we anticipate that, or how can we counteract it? And this series is going to be full of situations like that where one team's going to have the upper hand in some facet of the game, and you're going to go to the tape and you're going to talk about it, and you're going to come back the next game and do what you have to do to stop the bleeding, I guess is the best way to say it.
Right.
And that's why this series is going to be so great, because the teams are so good that just the margin for error, the margin of difference in each game, I think is going to be very, very minimal.
Erik Cole is with us. All right, I'm just going to go back to the first period. And again, I am not suggesting that Carolina was the victim of poor officiating, because I really didn't have a problem with the penalty. I mean, I could, right? I didn't think what Tony DeAngelo did, the actual act, was a penalty. Of course, they made up a call first. They completely invented a Martin Necas trip on the play. He was actually sitting in the penalty box when they decided, well, he didn't really do anything. It was Tony DeAngelo, and they called it roughing. I guess I'm not even sure if by rule they have to call that a penalty, but maybe they do. Like, I thought the DeAngelo hit was clean, but I did think he intended to send a message about, hey, we're not going to let you do what you try to do with Seth Jarvis. We're not going to let you do that, so I'm going to take a shot at one of your players. Is that a proper read on that situation? How did you look at that?
Well, I mean, yeah, and Tony plays on the edge, and he gets booed the first time he touches the puck.
Yeah.
Early on in the game, so it's going to get your juices flowing a little bit. My issue with that call was that they go into it with a tripping on Marty Necas, that they were looking, when they say they're going to look for whether or not it was a 5-minute major, they're looking to call a slew foot, which is a 5-minute penalty. You can get fined for it. You can get suspended for it. And they come out of there with a roughing call, and that wasn't really a roughing call.
Right.
It was a pretty clean body check, in my opinion. Like, maybe his arm was up a little bit, but it's not like it was head contact. He went through the whole body.
Right.
So for me, it should have resulted in a non-call. But then again, they're in MSG, and it's early on in the game, and I'm sure the refs don't want the fans on them the entire game. So they're like, well, we better give them something. Not to mention Labby's flipping out over on the other bench. So. Yeah, for me, that shouldn't have been a penalty at all. And just it's unfortunate, but like I said, the margin, of error, the margins of, where this game turns one side or the other are very, very narrow.
All right, since we're on this, should the Hurricanes have had a 5-on-3 with not only the Kreider hit, which was a clear boarding on Seth Jarvis, but also, shouldn't that have been a follow-up interference on Jacob Trouba when Jarvis gets up, not playing the puck, and Trouba decks him back down to the ice? Shouldn't that have they both should have been called, right?
Yeah, I'm in particular the Trouba hit for me. I feel like this year there's been a few hits where they. Like, boarding should have been called, and it wasn't. I think it was actually it might have been in the Rangers' first-round series, where I thought on both their, first, 2 goals of the series or whatever, penalties were committed literally right before, like it was what led to the turnover. And the defenseman, I think, like went off the ice, with a shoulder injury, and it was, like that's like kind of the epitome of like the boarding like call.
Right.
The guy's 3 or 4 feet away from the boards, and you give him a shove from kind of like the side or back, and just really bury him into the boards. That's exactly what they should be looking for when it comes to boarding. But for me, it was the secondary hit from Trouba when, the puck's not really anywhere near Jarvis, or he's not even attempting to play it, and he just got steamrolled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that definitely should have been called. I didn't think the officiating was very good. I don't think the officiating's been great the whole playoffs, to be honest. But, I'm always a little critical of them.
Yes, and some of them even live in town. Erik Cole is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Since we've already mentioned the name Seth Jarvis, your thoughts on what he has been to Carolina so far through 6 playoff games?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's the difference maker in most games. He has been really all season. He, not only just on the score sheet, but he does a lot of things, that don't necessarily end up on the score sheet, but he's got a lot of like really good, I guess they would call them the Corsi stats and things like that.
Right.
I think he's just been just solid, like all year really, where, he skates hard, he plays hard, he's feisty, scores big goals. He makes great plays. He's evolving into just a really, really strong player in this league. And, hopefully he's a Hurricane for a long, long time.
Yeah, I've already told Tom Dundon, don't get it done now. Don't wait. Don't bridge it. Just do it right now, because it's going to cost you more money down the road. And finally, for Erik Cole, and this is not to say that Carolina's best players haven't been good. I think Aho Svechnikov was, I thought, excellent in the first series. Who do you want to see more from?
Oh, you know what? In this series, it's going to have to be all of them. In this series, all the top guys need to make an impact on the series for the team to win. I think you need obviously Aho, you need Sech, you need Jake Gensel. Like we need him going. Jarvis. I mean, you can go down the list. Like I think that with how the team was successful throughout the course of the season, it wasn't just a few players here and there that really carried the entire group. Like it was a really good job of having a collective effort. But when it comes to the playoffs and it comes to this time of year, the guys that are looked to as the big boys in the room and the leaders of the group, they need to step up and like show that, hey, we're not going to lose this series. We're here. This is our time, and this really is, for me, this is their opportunity. I think, that's one thing that's so great about playoff hockey is, it's difficult. I mean, there's just no other way to describe it. It's, everything that you went through during the regular season, to get you to this point, you still got to put in, 10% more, or whatever it is.
Right.
And, for me, a guy like Marty Necas, like he might have to do some things that he doesn't necessarily do, during the regular season, he doesn't finish a lot of hits, and he kind of stays out of some traffic areas sometimes, and he makes himself a little bit more of a perimeter player, but in the playoffs, that's not necessarily how you have success. So for me, he's going to need to be a guy that's going to have to step up and, score some big goals and maybe do some things that are a little out of character for him in terms of, how he plays the game normally. It takes some players some time to learn like the difference between playoff hockey and regular season hockey, I guess is the best way to say it. But he's certainly had enough experience in the playoffs that he should know. Like sometimes you're going to have to do some things out there that are a little out of character, and that goes for everybody. Everyone's got to be laying down to block shots. Everyone's got to, back check hard through the middle and stop in front. And it takes the entire team. And I think that we've got the group that can do it this year. And, I'm excited for them. But at the same time, like now's the time. They've been there and they've been close, and now's the time to break through.
I look forward, by the way, and I'm translating this to Martin Necas and Matt Rempe to fight in the first period tonight. I think Marty can take him.
Marty's a big, strong guy.
He is. He is.
It's not like he's a slight build or anything. I think if he wanted to be, he could be, just a real handful physically.
Yep. No, I thought he played a not a great first period, but I thought his game got better as the game wore on. And I think he does need a little bit of physical engagement to get himself going at times. I wouldn't mind seeing number 20 throw his body around a little bit. He's not going to be on the ice with Matt Rempe. I think he can throw his body around against who he's playing against. And I think angry Aho is always my favorite Aho anyway.
Yeah, I think most people are better hockey players when they're a bit angry. That's just kind of the nature of it. But the thing with that though too, if they were to start getting a little physical out there, it actually will probably open up a little bit more space for you.
Right.
Believe it or not,
it does. That's why you were so good, Erik Cole. I thank you very much, my friend. I will talk to you very soon.
Sounds good, buddy.
You got it. Erik Cole here on the Adam Gold Show. So I'm translating this. Erik Cole says that Martin Necas should pick a fight with Matt Rempe.
Right.
Just drop the gloves. Exactly. Go on the ice, drop the gloves, and just drop him.
Yeah.
Drop Rempe.